Hey y'all, so this video is for people who probably just getting into it, just starting to see what Chosen Ones is, and they starting to think okay, I think I'm a chosen one, so what's next, right? Okay, because it's now you know what it is, right? But you still don't know what to do, right? So this is what you do, right? The Bible, right? It is so good to get connected to a good church, right? It's every so often I post different churches that I'm very connected to in the comments, the posts on my channel, y'all. Like and subscribe to the channel. But also the main thing, you still dealing with all kinds of rejection, and so it's probably hard to go to the church, and you probably don't even know why you feel like you don't want to go to the church. You feel like people in the church gonna judge you. It's already in your mind, right? And that's exactly what's gonna happen because it's already in your mind, right? So it's not your time to go in the building yet, and that's okay. Thank God, God know what we need, and He know when we need it, right? Because we got the internet, and it's some great churches that stream online that you can get connected to. I even post some in the comments under this video, y'all. But the main thing is you can't just eat off a preacher, right? Because Sunday sermons, it be part of the word. You gotta know your word, right? You gotta know your word and understand your word. Most importantly, you have to read the word and apply the word. Because if you are chosen one, when you are reading the word, you will see your life in the word, right? You will see, because if you say right now, if you probably say something to somebody like a prophet is not accepted in their own hometown, people gonna look at you crazy. They gonna think you trying to compare yourself to Jesus. No. See, that's why you have to have the word in your heart, right? Because these people stories will explain. I'm telling you, as a chosen one, you had the hardest childhood, uh being molested, right? Being neglected, right? Being abused, right? Being unaccepted by friends, family, right? Being talked about, being misused your whole life, right? And it seemed like no matter what, you always was in the wrong. So you spent your whole life transforming and changing because you wanted to fit in. You wanted these people to accept you, so you wanted to be who they wanted you to be, right? So at this point in your life, if you have realized this is who you have been, you are a chosen one. But what you also have to realize now is you don't know who you are, right? And you probably starting to see that, right? You probably starting to see you do certain things because these people do it and you want to be around these people, right? But if you really by your own self, that's not how you spend your time. That's not how you even want to spend your time, right? So this is when you start to walk in the wilderness, right? This is the spiritual journey, right? Because now you know who you are, right? You have the guide, right? Because that's what we be looking for, right? You thinking okay, so how do I be this person? This is how you be this person, right? Because in this Bible, these people have lived in the utmost dysfunction, right? They done been persecuted. They done been hurt. People get Cain killed Abel. That's his brother, right? Envy and jealousy and hate because of the blessing is talked about all up and through this Bible. You will understand why the rejection, the mistreatment, the neglect, the hurt, the pain. You will understand that it was purpose when you read this word, right? And that is what leads you into wilderness and forgiveness, right? That's the biggest one. Because now that you know who you are, right, you start to be one with yourself, spend time with just yourself, right? understanding yourself, because you like you, right? You great, right? You great. God said you were fearfully and wonderfully made. He said he was going to build a cornerstone and that you would be blessed, right? Like, now you know, like, this is why I'm different, right? Not because something wrong with me. I see things different because I got a purpose, right? Now you zoned in, right? You feel me? Because now you know what's going on. Now you still, through this journey, there will be all types of attacks. They will get big, small. Sometimes they will be unbelievable, right? Like one day, my power went out. Yeah, when I first started doing the videos, my power went out, and it went off at like 2 o'clock in the morning or something, right? So I called maintenance, right? Yes, I called maintenance because I didn't want to be jet dark in there. Because why the power went out? Well, first I called JEA, the company. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that on YouTube. I called the power company to see if it was an outage in the area. They told me it wasn't no outage, that I needed to call maintenance. So I called maintenance. Maintenance came. Like 3 o'clock in the morning, maintenance came. And the man says to me, like, you know, I don't mean no disrespect, but did you pay your bill? Like, yes, sir. I paid my bill. I even called him before I called you to make sure I ain't need to set up no payment arrangement or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but for real. So I'm like, you know, he like, cause I don't know what's wrong with it. So I'm like, well, what you want me to do? Like, so then he go to the big box and he's still trying to get it on, and he can't figure it out, right? So we end up being without power. So like 8 o'clock in the morning, he like, we gonna call somebody to come out here and check it. These people come, they say, I don't know what's wrong with it, right? But meantime, about 10 o'clock, we still ain't got no power. So then it was about 11:30. He decided to turn the hot water heater off, and some kind of way it came on, right? So he like, okay, we're going to just replace your hot water heater tomorrow, because we're going to say it's the hot water heater that's doing it, because that's what made it stay on this time when we turned the hot water heater off. So I'm like, okay, cool. But, you know, I was kind of like in the dark, right? So I couldn't do no video that day, right? And I'm just starting my channel and stuff, so I'm trying to stay consistent and stuff. So, but I'm in the dark, and then like it's kind of frustrating. So I ain't really, you know, in a headspace or whatever. So I had to just pray about it, right? Because I knew that me coming to the internet and walking in what God told me to walk in, right? It wasn't gonna be easy, right? But if God told me to do it, then I got to do it. So that's what you going to see, like, when you read in the Bible, right? You going to see who you are, right? You going to start to look at yourself differently, right? You going to start to look at yourself the way God look at you, right? Like, y'all subscribe to the channel if this video is good for y'all, right? On y'all spiritual journey, right? Because chosen ones, you still need direction, right? And you can't really just go to anybody and be like, I'm a chosen one. Tell me, you know, what's next, right? Because people going to be looking at you like, wait, like, why you think you special? But you is, though. Like, you is, right? And it's here, right? It's in here. It's in the word. When I tell you, like, I am one of them people, like, if I start a new job, I know all the rules. So, just in case you want to come at me about the rules, right? So, me reading the Bible, it was very hard, but you start reading the Bible from the 4 synoptic gospels, like Mark, Matthew, John, and Paul. Is that right? I don't know. I'm gonna correct myself if I'm wrong, y'all. But that's where you start reading the Bible at, right? They telling you their accounts of when Jesus came, right? So you start to understand like what's going on, right? Then from there, you go back and you read, right? But it helps you get an understanding of what's actually happening. So when you go back to Genesis and everybody be begetting everybody, right? Because such and such beget, you will know what they talking about, right? Like, because all they telling you is the lineage, right? But you gonna know because you read the synoptic gospel, so you kind of know who they talking about and what that mean, right? So it does help. And I can tell you, when you start to identify, like, I promise you, if you listening to this video, that mean, like, the stuff you done been through in your life, the kind of rejection, right, the kind of hurt that you done had to hold inside, it's almost unreal, right? Like, that's how you got to thank God that you heal, right? Because those things was meant to break you, right? Because the devil always knew who you was. You just didn't, right? So the devil was coming at you so you could forget. But now that God has, you done went to God somewhere, you done surrendered and said, God, I need you. And now he trying to show you. He trying to reveal back to you, because Jeremiah 1:5 said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. So he already knew who you was and already had a plan for your life. So you are going back to him and you're asking him for the plan. Like, God, I'm ready. Give me the plan. And he says, if you seek me with all your heart, you will find me. You have to know this word. You have to read this word. And you have to understand who you are. And then you act accordingly. You don't just read it. You apply it. You will forgive people because they did not know who you was. The enemy was using them to hurt you. It was never about them mistreating you. They did that to break your spirit so that you would not go to God to find out who you are and what you are capable of in this world. You have a purpose. You're not here by accident. If you read Jeremiah 1:5, and then I want you to Google your first name. Y'all subscribe if this video is good for y'all, right? For real. And I would give y'all more steps, like, because this is important. This is the most important part, because the word of God is going to transform your life. And it is a process. It would download and download and download. Y'all see I got a dress on, right? Like, that lady told me, about the Old Testament and about the clothing and stuff. She did try to tell me about the nose ring. I don't have my nose ring in, but I'm going to tell y'all, in Ezekiel, like, about the whole nose ring thing, right? Like, God gave her the jewels, right? She took the jewels, but God put the ring in her nose, the rings in her ears. He gave her the jewels because she was beautiful and he loved her. She took her worldly beauty and she did wrong, right? But God gave her the jewels, right? So it's nothing wrong with having a nose ring, right? God didn't say nothing was wrong with that. That's traditional, right? People in the church are more traditional than word, especially older people. That's why they're so judgmental, but then they don't want to say they judgmental, right? That's why until you're ready to go into the church, you don't have to, right? You get your word, you read your word, right? It's just like when Moses brought the people out of Israel from slavery, right? They could have went a shorter route, but they would have had to fight a battle, right? And because God knew they wasn't ready to fight that battle, he took them the long way. He took them the long way so that he could work on them, right? Right? So he could work on Moses through that journey, right? Because God give us detours, right? Because you got to know who you is when you walking into these paths, right? Because the devil do. The devil already know who you is, so he already 2 steps ahead of you. That's why as soon as you get this idea in your head, you say it to somebody you trust and love, like your parents, your friends, and they shoot it down, like laugh at you, like talk about you, like all that kind of stuff, right? They're very against what you're saying. It's not about them, right? Once you learn that this word is spiritual, it's not about flesh and blood. They love you, right? They do. They love you the way they know how to love you, right? But them spirits stronger, right? So them spirits use them, right? And that's about blocking you, right? But this word will teach you that, right? It's going to teach you how to combat that, how to forgive that, right? How to lift that off your heart, because you have to have your heart posture right, right? Because you can't walk into what God has for you if you are not who God called you to be, right? He gave you a purpose, but he also expects you to be this person who is worthy of this purpose, right? Because you are a light, right? This I'm gonna tell y'all, like, this lady, okay, God have to check your heart posture. I'm gonna give y'all an example, because recently I had to repent for this, right? So the lady who told me about the dresses or whatever, and the nose ring or whatever, we was talking about God. But before I said anything to this lady, I knew God told me to bless this lady. I ain't know why, but in my mind I was thinking, like, maybe that's just me, because part of me kind of feel like she had no money. So maybe that's my pride or something. Like, maybe I need to check this. So I try to be quiet, but and not say nothing, not bother the lady. But I come back and I end up on the aisle she on. And so I'm like, hey, how you doing? Just being nice, right? And she like, blessed and highly favored, how you doing? Right? So now I'm like, okay, maybe this a little critical here what she doing, because, you know, that ain't what I'm on, right? I'm just being nice or whatever. So, but I still looking, and then, so, you know, I start talking to her. Then she tells me, like, her husband was a bishop, and, you know, she starts talking about the word and why she here and what God told her to do, and, you know, and I'm listening to her. But then she starts to criticize me, right? She criticizes that I got on pants, right? And then she talks about the nose ring, right? And so now she did say that the way you dress attracts negative spirits, right? Envious spirits, right? And you a light, you a teacher, right? So when she said you a light, she said people will be drawn to you to listen to you, right? So they gonna think what you do is right, right? And she said the spirits in pants draw negativity, envy from other women because of your figure, and also, like, you know, lust and stuff from men or whatever, and the masculine energy, right? The spirit of a man, right? So think about, like, how they say, like, who wear the pants, right? So it was the spiritual aspect of it that made me think about what she was saying, right? And the fact that she, even in her criticism, she acknowledged who I was. You are a light, right? She can see. People see you, chosen ones, right? They see you. You don't see you, right? Because you so humble. God made your heart that way. So you don't see you the way other people see you, right? You wonder why people aim their envy and jealousy at you and come at you like they do. Like, always trying to paint you out to be a bad person. But that's because they see you. You don't see you, right? So through this word, you will start to see you. Then it will start to make sense, right? The whole time, they always saw you. They was trying to dim that light because they knew that if God could get to you, he was going to use you to do something great. So now you there, right? He done got to you. So you got to apply the word to your life. You have to live by this word. When I say live by, I mean live by it. Read it, ingest it, understand it, discuss it, reread it. Like, apply it to your life. Because if you are walking with God, you are walking by this Bible, right? And I'm going to tell you, you will see, like, the more you apply it in your life, the more you going to win, right? People around you ready for you to lose. But you just walking and walking, and they wondering why, like, why, how she able to do that? How he able to do that? Like, and they been saying that forever, right? That's why they always been feeling like that. Then you start to realize God always been here, right? That's why Genesis tell us what the enemy meant for evil, God meant for good, right? He always been here, right? The light always been in you. That's who that light always been. You see you, right? Now you believe in you, right? You read your word, you apply your word, and you will let God download your life into you. It says your steps will be ordered, right? Your steps are ordered, right? Jeremiah 29:11, for he knows the plans he has for you. It is real. Now you know who you are, chosen one. You get your guide to life and you study it. You become one with it. You apply it to your life. People that been going to church for years and years, they ain't gonna understand your faith, right? They ain't gonna understand how you just picked up the Bible and now all of a sudden you running with Christ, right? Because they've been walking with him forever, right? It's because it was already purpose, right? You've been running with him forever too. You just ain't know he was there, right? You just didn't know because you was in your own strength. Now you gonna realize just how strong you really can be when you cast your cares on God. Because that strength that you had was already, it was great, right? It was already natural strength, right? But now you got God, and you know God chose you for this. So now you got supernatural strength, right? Now your faith is on, I'm on a new level. I'm on a new level. You, like, for real. Like, so now it's time to walk, right? It is no door that God tells you knock and the door will be open unto you. My Father is rich, right? With houses and cars. I know it don't say cars, but houses and lands, or lands and something. You know what I'm talking about, right? Read your word, right? Know who you are. Yeah, I even been thinking, I have wrote a devotional, right? A 7-day devotional for chosen ones, right? Just learning who you are in Christ, because that is a part of the transformation, right? If you go in that cocoon as a caterpillar, you cannot come back out as a caterpillar. You understand me? The caterpillar dies in that cocoon, right? That's why it says it through Christ be transformed through the renewing of your mind, right? Because when you start getting close to this word, you start reading this word and knowing this word, it's going to transform your mind, because you're going to see in the spiritual, right? Your discernment going to be on another level. You going to understand who these people is around you. Then you going to be glad to be by yourself, right? And then you go, as you start to do that, right, you start to heal because you let it go, right? Not no anger, not no bitter, not no hurt, right? Because you got a purpose. You focus. You ain't got time for that, right? That's a distraction, right? Like, that's what I tell you. Like, all the stuff gonna come at you. Like, I just did a video on my TikTok. I shared about, like, how my children daddy, like, you come out of the blue after 10 months of you not even trying to contact no children or nothing, not trying to get no money to no children or nothing. You put this on Facebook your own self. Now, you want to come bothering me. Why? That's the enemy trying to use him, right? Because the first thing he said on there was, well, first he insulted my character, right? Then he ended by saying, like, oh, but you supposed to be so godly, right? You supposed to be walking with God, or whatever he says, spiritual, whatever he said, right? So most of the people, you know, who was egging that on, that was already what they wanted to say, right? So, because they know me, right? So they know who I have been, right, before I got with Christ. And they want to hold me to that person, right? So, but that person is dead, right? So I have to rise above that and keep doing what God told me to do, right? Regardless of what other people think, because of the fact that God has renewed my mind, and I recognize that I'm not here to please people, but to serve people, which is why I'm giving y'all this, right? I'm telling you what to do. I'm giving you the playbook. Coach, put me in the game. I'm putting you in, right? Like, for real. Like, because this is going to transform your life, right? You will start to walk different in life, right? You will feel different in life. It's like a weight is lifted off your shoulders. You really are able to cast your cares. You ain't even angry no. Y'all, I'm telling you, I ain't even got road rage no more. I could tell when them old spirits start to get back in me, irritating me, because I could see old habits coming back, right? Then I have to pray and realign, repent, realign, right? Just like with that lady. I know I was supposed to bless that lady, and I didn't. And I didn't because she criticized me. And I knew that I was supposed to bless her because God confirmed it when she said that her husband was a bishop, right? Because that let me know. She said was a bishop. That means she a widow. That was confirmation, right? It's in the word. Take care of widows and children, right? So that was confirmation I was supposed to bless her. But I let my emotions get in the way of it because I already was feeling attacked by so many other people, right? Because people who I felt like was supposed to be on my side and supposed to be cheering for me in my hardest times, they turned on me, right? And that is your story though, right? Like, it's almost sad to say that you used to that, right? Like, so at some point it don't even hurt no more because it's like I can't blame you because you don't know who I am, right? I can't blame you for not seeing me because I didn't see me, right? So I could forgive you for not seeing me because I ain't see me. But now I see me, right? So now I see me, I know what I deserve, right? Now I understand how people can be so hurt in their own life that they hurt other people. So I'm more understanding of other people doing things that may hurt me, right? Because I understand that you can't, if you hurt me, I only have two choices, right? I either keep letting you hurt me or I distance myself. I learned to do these things. I learned to handle things better, right? Like if you do something I don't like, I can have a conversation with you about it because we two different people. So you might not even understand why I don't like it, right? But you learn because the Bible tells you lean not on your own understanding, right? So you learn not to just jump in and feel like, oh, people know when they do stuff to you. Because no, they don't, right? Like, you know that because you going to figure that out about yourself, right? Because when you really start to talk to some people and hear how they can portray you, right, from some of the things you do and say, you can almost understand how people can create anything, right? Because they'll be painting you out to be this person that you like the complete opposite of, right? And you be sitting there trying to understand, like, why did you think that about me, right? But it's really because of people's perception, right? And the environment people been raised in, and the stuff that they done experienced in life, right? The hurt that they done experienced, the trauma, right? The pain, the things they done had to overcome in life, right? All of that. But, and you have a story, chosen one, right? If anybody got a story, you do. Because you done had to overcome the most. I'm trying to make my children breakfast, right? So, but you done had to overcome the most, right? Stuff that people, you can't even talk about still, right? But I'm going to tell you, you do all of that, right? This is a part of it, right? You become one with that. Understand that it's things that you've been through that you ain't never told nobody, right? Because of the hurt that you still feeling, right? It's people done made you feel bad about things for so long that you learn to bottle everything up in the inside. That's not gonna help you. Like, because people are attracted to your strength, right? Your strength is your light, right? But people bond with your weakness, right? Because your weakness understands them, right? So all those things that you feel like is like shameful and regretful, They were a part of it. And once you accept that in your own life, right, then you start to be one with you, right? And once you start to be one with you, right, you become unstoppable, right? Really, right? You become unstoppable because at this point, you know, like you was always like target for narcissistic abuse because you've been abused by narcissists your whole life, right? Like, because that's what's been breaking. That was the rejection, right? So you probably ended up in narcissistic relationships and you've been hurt and gaslit. So now you like super untrusting, right? Super untrusting of people because you done been gaslit so much. But see, once you start to allow God to download in you and you start to read your word, right, you will see through narcissists, right? Like you will know, like, okay, this person, like your discernment gets strong, right? God will continue to give you discernment because you praying and you reading the word, right? And so you will see, like, okay, this person has been hurt a lot in their life, right? Now, because this person has been hurt a lot in their life, they deserve love and care, right? But, right, you also will be aware that, like, because this person has been hurt a lot in their life, they are untrustworthy, right? Because hurt people hurt people. It's not judging people. It's seeing people for who they are, right? People are the spirits that they carry. You will see them and feel them, right? Because God give you gifts. And if you walk in your path from the word, right, he is going to reveal things to you. And you're going to understand how to deal with people. But he take you away from people in that wilderness period so you can learn to only listen to his voice. My sheep know my voice. But you got to quiet the other voices, right? You can't hear everybody and God, right? It's just God, right? And so that's when you really gonna start to see, because people will remove themselves then, because people who love you, they not gonna mind you taking time to get yourself together. You gonna really understand, like, that it's not about you, because it's people who gonna make that about them. That you saying you need some time to yourself. They make that about them. No matter how much you tell them, like, it's not about them, they make it about them. That shows you that that's something they gotta work on, right? That's something they gotta heal through. You can't fix that. But it relieves that off of you, right? Because you can see that now. Like, I didn't do anything. We have a difference of opinions here. And I can respect yours, but I don't think you're trying to respect mine. So that shows it's a one-sided relationship, right? And sometimes you have to get away from those relationships. Don't mean that's forever. It's because what you trying to do, they opposing it. So they gonna be pulling you back, right? And if you trying to continue to walk this walk, you gotta drop them weights. You can't allow people to pull you back, because you're not here to please people. You serve people. You please God, right? Which means you gotta listen. You'll start to realize that so many people around you are codependent. They don't make their own decisions. And you probably realize you ain't make yours either, right? Right? So you got to learn how to do that. Which means every day, you shouldn't be talking to other people every day, right? If you got a spouse, yes. But if you are single, you shouldn't talk to people every day. Because why you need to, right? Can you go a whole day without talking to somebody on the phone, right? Why do you need to talk to people on the phone, right? That's codependency, right? Why do people need to talk to you every day, right? What do you be talking about? What is it doing for your life, right? Are these relationships progressing you or stressing you out, right? Because you're hearing more and more situations about people in negative situations. But then, at some point, you have to sit back and realize, like, we sit here on the phone talking about it. And you doing the same thing, and I'm doing the same thing. Like, you walking in, if you reading this word, chosen one, your feet moving now. You're not sitting still. So, you don't want to talk about what other people doing, right? You don't want to talk about other people business or like celebrity gossip or none of these things. Now you want to talk about progression, right? For emotion, how you can make a change in the world, right? So you're gonna have to migrate to circles who want to discuss that same thing, right? Who on that same path, right? Because it's not about you not being friendly or you not loving these people no more. You still love these people, but you need to go where you're fed, because you can't grow if you don't know. So you have to seek information. You got to read and you got to apply. Don't just read, right? Because a lot of people read and they be like, oh, I read 25 books this year. How many books you read? I read 2, right? But the 2 books that I read, I really took out what I needed to take out and applied it to my life, right? That's what you got to do. It's not about getting the knowledge. It's about applying the knowledge. Knowledge is strength, but wisdom is power. Wisdom is knowing how to apply the knowledge, right? It's like if you go to the gym and I got a good example, right? Knowledge, having just knowledge and not the wisdom to apply it, is like that SpongeBob episode when he ordered the big mussels and he was blowing them up and he got jerked. That muscles so big, and then they tell him to get in the ankle throwing contest, right? And so the muscles was for show and not for throw, right? Because he couldn't lift that ankle, but his muscles was the biggest, right? That is what it's like when you got the knowledge, but you don't have the wisdom to apply the knowledge, right? It's like you got these big muscles for show, so you can talk to people about what you know, but then you're not making no change in your life or no other people's life, right? You here to leave a legacy, right? It said, the Bible says, a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, right? So it's not about you wanting to just have money, right? It's about you wanting to take care of what comes from you, right? Your children shouldn't be Rock City. Your children shouldn't have to pay for your decisions. They should get paid from your decisions. You feel me? Like that is what you own, right? So you gotta figure out who you here to serve, and you gotta find your gift. But it's gonna require you knowing the steps. This is a step, right? If you don't watch this video to the end, y'all subscribe. I promise you I love you so much. This is a step, right? The step is knowing the word. Don't let nobody else tell you what you need to do. As a chosen one, your steps are ordered, right? Your steps are ordered. You listen to God. Your steps are ordered. I love y'all.